You've had a dozen talks with your girlfriend because she's always coming to you and complaining about the dude that she's seeing, and then became the fiance, and they're about to get married, and you don't think it's going to work. But do you have the right last minute to go to her one more time and go, girl, you sure this is something you want to do?
That's what the maid of honor was asking us. Hold on.
Here it comes.
Say chicken.
Oh, that felt
Bless you.
good.
Bless you.
All right, so she's the maid of honor, and the wedding was this past weekend, and she was asking us, like, do I say something to her because I feel like she is making a huge mistake. And while the bride hasn't flat out said, I think I'm making a huge mistake, she's just been picking up on the bride's vibes, and that she's been off and she's been down, and that she hasn't been happy. And whenever she's talked about her fiance, it's never been anything good. She's never had anything good to say about him. And she feels bad for her, and maybe thought that if I just give her the okay to be like, you can call this off if you don't want to go through it, maybe that's what she needs to hear. And so she was asking us, as the maid of honor, do I have a duty to step in and tell the bride, I think you're making a mistake, or do I just let her go through with it?
This close to the wedding. This close.
All right, I got the email, and it reads, Bert Show, I took your advice, and a few hours before the rehearsal dinner, I tried to talk to her.
A few hours before the rehearsal?
Yep.
Why is that off limits?
No, I'm just like, you're talking about waiting till the 11th hour, man. Like, they actually, not even the rehearsal, they did the rehearsal, and after they rehearsed the wedding, before the dinner, she's like, hey, by the way, this rehearsal didn't go so well. How about we not go through this?
Okay, so bad timing.
Yeah, she letting that shot clock run all the way down.
Okay.
I tried to talk to her. I didn't flat out say she was making any mistakes. I brought up the fact that I could tell she was stressed, and I asked what she was feeling. She was a bit short with me, as if I was pointing out the obvious, that a bride is stressed the day before her wedding. I tried to explain that I realized stress was normal before her big day, but wanted to make sure there wasn't something going on that she needed my help with. She asked, like what? I didn't want to put any words in her mouth, so I just said, I don't know, anything. She told me everything was fine and that she was just ready for it all to be over, because she didn't want to worry about wedding planning anymore. So I left it at that. That night at the rehearsal dinner, she seemed really short with her fiance. She just seemed so annoyed with him, and he could tell. It was the most tense rehearsal dinner that I've ever been at. We all left, but I had forgotten something at the restaurant, so I went back. When I pulled back into the parking lot, I noticed they were still there and in their car. While I couldn't hear what they were saying, they were clearly yelling at each other. About 15 minutes later, I texted her and said, "You okay?" She just responded with, "Fine." The next day, while we were getting ready, she was just really quiet and snippy with all of us. I couldn't help but be annoyed, but also really sad for her. Later that day, I watched them both as they walked down the aisle. Neither of them smiled. They seemed so annoyed at each other. Then at the reception, I only saw them together at their entrance. First dance, dinner, and cake cutting. Other than that, they were at the opposite sides of the room. To be honest, I'm really surprised he went through with it. He seemed just as miserable. Maybe this is a situation where it works for them, so it's just fine. I don't know. I feel really bad, and maybe I should have tried harder to stop it.
So this is the second time this morning we're talking about a very similar situation, right? Earlier this morning, it was a woman that's 2 months out, and she and her fiance are having a lot of tension right now. In fact, they're not even living in the same place anymore. And she was like, maybe I should just go through with the wedding and then get the divorce after. Same deal right here. They're both miserable, and they walk down the aisle.
Well, that's her perception of it.
That's her perception. I would also say, you know what? They're adults, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you can only control what you can control.
They make their own decisions, and they decided to walk down that aisle.
Yeah, I feel like if I'm that friend, I'm just minding my business.
Their pictures are going to suck.
Such stank face. Yes. Everybody's going to be like, was our wedding venue next to like a sewer plant? Why do we all have that face? Regrets.
I know too many people that said they knew on that day that this was not going to last forever, but they felt so much pressure to go through with it. And they thought that the magic of the day or the intoxicating period, honeymoon period, would get them through it. Then they'd be back to normal. But their gut told them the whole time it wasn't going to work, and they did it anyway.
No.
I'm always shocked by that because there's no way I could do that. I just wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you run away, or would you be like, I can't do this? Like, would you just disappear?
I might.
I was like, I can't imagine you telling your family, you guys. I changed my mind.
I probably would tell my grandmother and just have her tell everybody else.
Oh, you make
and just
grandma be the
disappear.
mouthpiece?
I would.
Because nobody can get mad at grandma,
No,
right?
what you gonna do? Can't be mad at her.
Send the DVD of Runaway Bride. Hey, you might want to watch this tonight.
Most hiding around here pretending to be a lamp or something. You just have a lampshade on your head.
The Bert Show.